This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Ben Leber at Nacho Leber via X. Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30 on Channel 5, Twin Cities Live. Twin Cities Live, a fantastic, inspiring... Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5. Ben and Elizabeth. It's a fantastic, inspiring, open-minded, discussion-oriented TV show. TCL, yeah, you know we. What a wonderful show. Make sure you watch it each and every day.
Wow, what a glowing review. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, good to see you.
The reeling Vikings are at the Lions Sunday, and the game is in Detroit. Next, Nacho Leber shares his 10 all-time favorite Motown songs. This is Twin Cities Live. That sounds pretty good, right?
Well, you know that would never be the case because, I don't know one Motown song.
You know no fewer than 20. You just don't know their Motown.
Well, that's probably true.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I got sunshine.
So here's one thing that drives my wife absolutely crazy is that I'm not quote music guy. Mm-hmm. She loves music. Mm-hmm. Loves music. I appreciate music. I like music, but I'm not in it to where like I know who sang what song, what the title of songs are.
Yep.
Shoot, even
who wrote it.
Yeah, even the songs that I do like. Do you think I know all the lyrics? Nah.
Right.
I'm a vibe guy. Like, if the song's got good vibe, I like it. I can jam to it. I like it on. But I'm not one to say, like, this is my favorite band since I was a kid. I'm going to have every record and every CD and every cassette and all the vinyls. Not that guy. So, to your point.
Well, in Vermilion, South Dakota, I mean, you guys were scratching and surviving to get Wi-Fi. How am I supposed to think you got record players?
Oh yeah,
we lived.
We lived in the Stone Age.
Yes.
You know, when I was growing up, you guys had your fancy tape decks and all this other stuff, and you know we were still on 8-track, and you know, and all we really got, and truthfully, like our household wasn't we didn't have music on all the time. The only time I really like jammed to music was to and from church. Mm-hmm. And we had Casey Kasem on, America's Top 40.
Yeah. He's immortality.
Oh, he's the best.
Yes,
he's the best. And then we'd hear the most popular songs. It was always probably like, and coming in at number 21 on this week's Top 40. Yeah. So it wasn't like always the popular song. It was like right in the middle.
So you were never the guy who like picked the music genre in the locker room, the pump up music before the game or anything?
Well, here's what's really going to piss a lot of people off around here. I don't like country music. Like, it's not my vibe.
But you can tolerate it.
I can tolerate some of it. I like
same.
I like newer age country music versus like the old school country music.
Like Darius Rucker. I
actually like Darius Rucker. Mm-hmm. But so that being said, you know, like White Boy Wednesdays in the locker room and in the weight room, you know, it was a lot of country music. So, like, I was like, give me Thugged Out Thursdays. I'm much cooler with Thugged Out Thursdays.
Yeah, right.
And Freestyle Fridays. But, like, you would think because of my ethnicity and being in South Dakota that I would be, like, down for White Boy Wednesdays and then be in charge of the music. No. And then, so I could never be that guy because if I was in charge of the music on White Boy Wednesday, then it would have become more hip hop and like more of that up tempo stuff. And then so I was getting trumped there because like, well, all the white guys would be like, no. Like we're listening to hard rock, heavy metal or country, which I'm out on both. Mm-hmm. And then,
well, if you let Greenway control it, it would be Chris Stapleton for like 3 hours. Right?
Yeah. Which again,
which is fine.
I'm causing so much controversy here.
Not really.
That I've gone to 2 Stapleton concerts. I think he's the worst in-person entertainer that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. And
I know one song, Tennessee Whiskey. So I'm not wowing because you're an idiot. He's unbelievable immortality. I'm just like, that was a bold statement.
I want everybody to understand what I'm saying here. The worst concert entertainer I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not taking away from his music. His music is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Him as a performer. If you're going to go see a live band, right, you love the music, but you also sort of want to be entertained while you're there.
Somewhat.
He actually captivates you in zero way.
What do you mean? Like he just
zero stage presence.
Sits on a stool and doesn't move?
He stands there and looks at his wife the whole time. Doesn't even look at the crowd. He has his head turned to the side.
Guy can't love his gal?
He has his head turned to the side. He looks at his gal. He sings to his gal and doesn't ever address the audience. He doesn't say like, "Hey, Minneapolis, St. Paul, so good to be here. Thanks for having me. This is amazing. You guys are great." Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Nope. It's just song after song after song. He walks off the stage. He's done.
Do you know his music at all outside of tennis? Okay. So.
Yeah. Because my wife listens to it. And I have to hear it in the house all day long.
Understood.
Yeah.
Do the songs, when you hear them live from a Mr. Chris Stapleton, do they sound different?
No, he's awesome. It sounds...
No, but that's what I want. See, like, my all-time favorite band, Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Yeah.
All right, now you know some songs.
Yeah, but they're entertainers.
I can't go for that. You Make My Dreams Kiss on my list.
Yeah.
No,
I would
but here's
love to
the
go
deal.
to a concert because they look like they're fun.
But like the musicality, second to none.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean. Say a song is 3 minutes and 50 seconds because Your Kiss is on my list. Well, it'll end up being 5.5 because in the middle of the song, guitar guy does a riff that works with the song, but it's not on the album. And then at the end, little keyboard thing with some Because Your Kiss. Then I'm like, hey, that's not on the record. See, they do a lot of that.
I like that.
I love that.
So the thing is, but to take it a step further, which I don't like. So I've gone to see Dave Matthews a few times. They're very entertaining in person, but they'll go on a 10-minute riff in the middle of a song. Now that's a little different. You give me a couple minutes, you want to show off your musical talents, and you want to be like, oh man, that's not in the radio cut. Like I like this. This is kind of fun. I'm jamming to this. I'm vibing this. I think that there is a shelf life to those little things, and if you're going to go Dave Matthews on it, and then a 3 or 4 minute song turns into a 15-minute song, I can't handle that, bro. Like I'm not down for that. No. Let's move it along.
Like the 6-minute guitar jam.
Yeah, let's move it along.
Oh, I love the 6-minute guitar jams.
No.
And see, that's what makes the world go round. That's what makes things so beautiful with personal taste. Like my number one hobby, not like life, not like biblical study or things like that.
Sure.
Hobby would be that I'm 59 years of age. So there was a show way back in the day called Midnight Special. All right. Now, when there were 4 channels, ABC, CBS, PBS and whatever, there are certain, like the NBA finals. Okay. 1979. I'm the biggest Washington Bullets fan you'll ever find living in Washington, D.C. So but to watch the Bullets NBA Finals game against the Seattle Supersonics, you had to wait till 11 o'clock because of potential like cussing on the court and things that would get picked up by the parabolic mics and stuff like that. So the NBA Finals and a Stanley Cup all shown on delay. So that was the world then. There was a show called Midnight Special, and there would be like bands that you've heard of, like popular bands, and there would be 5 stages, and they would go, here's Man for Man and Blinded by the Light, 2, 3, Blinded. Okay, next one, and Wolfman Jack would introduce them, or Helen Reddy, or whomever. Well, that show had to be on midnight or after, in case, like in Daryl Hall and John Oates' Rich Girl, you're a rich girl, bitch girl, gone too far. Can't have that.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to watch that show a lot. So when I go to the YouTube machine and I search for Midnight Special live songs, Linda Ronstadt and so on, I watch it all the time. Listen to it in my car a lot because I love live music. It's phenomenal. So that's like my number one hobby. Well, that's like 0.6 on your hobbies out of 10. And for Nordo, might not be a 9 out of 10, but it's probably a little higher.
Yeah.
So that's just it's just like the musical proclivities and taste. And like I saw, like at SoFi, it's so loud at SoFi compared to like Chargers games at SoFi are so much louder than Rams games. Have you noticed that when you're on the sideline? Is because they got to hype the crowd up because nobody cares about Chargers football. So like Bursich is analyzing something, or you're analyzing something, and it's play stoppage, and you hear, Ladies and gentlemen, the LA Chargers cheerleaders will be performing at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles this Friday at 6 o'clock. And Bursich is like, you guys are trying to explain something, and here's the play, blah, blah, blah. Incomplete, it's 3rd and 6. Brief pause. Ladies and gentlemen, your Los Angeles Chargers cheerleaders. It's so loud, but the music's loud too. And I caught you on my binoculars on the Viking sideline during a break. And you, I mean, the team was getting killed, so it's not like you were doing the moonwalk or like doing Michael Jackson dances. But you were bouncing a little bit. You know what the song was?
No.
Honey, yeah. And you were, oh, yeah. Okay. You were just bouncing. You got your arms out, snapping your fingers and everything. Javon Hargrave came over.
What song is that again?
Hey! Javon Hargrave came over right next to you and started going, hey! You guys are dancing together during the break. Then.
I think that you're trying.
Ladies and gentlemen, 50% off LA Charger baby blue sweatshirts at the Pro Shop.
Everybody on the power trip just rejoiced because you've got another clip.
I didn't give you enough.
Oh, you gave us plenty.
I didn't give you enough.
You gave us plenty.
That was enough.
It's the bomb. I've only heard it a few times. It's the bomb. There it is, 3-2. All right.
You're the best.
It's it's the final release.
Yeah, it is.
That really just puts it all together.
Yep.
It's the what?
The release. Your
the final
sweet release at the end.
The sweet release.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Like what part of it?
Yeah.
I can't find it on this button bar scenario with voluminous options. I'll just hit this.
How does it turn out when free agent?
Ben Leber at Nacho Leber via the tweet machine. McCarthy says the ankle feels amazing. So here we go with JJ season take 2. What do you want to see from him while on the field Sunday at Ford Field?
You know, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, just kidding. No, that's what it was like for us. We're way upstairs by the speaker. You're not.
No.
We got a speaker right in front of us, and it just came. I mean, I thought Jared Wells, I thought his head was going to explode with the way that thing was jumping on us.
Yeah. I guess I did not notice that because I didn't notice it from where I was sitting.
And you were dancing to Hot in Here.
Yeah.
And Tennessee whiskey.
No, I was not. Okay, so Nordo and I were just discussing this before I came on.
That's great. Nobody else heard.
I know. So that's why I'm going to repeat it. I'm just going to say it's very topical that you asked that specific question
because
what I do. We were just talking about that. That I guess I'm excited for what I think is still the blank slate in the blank canvas that is JJ McCarthy. I don't know what we're going to see. I don't know what he does best. I don't know what he's not great at. We've seen him struggle for many quarters. We've seen flashes of brilliance. We've seen him play really well when he has time. The offense is in sync. He has time to throw. He's got good vision. We've seen him break the pocket. We've seen him run. We've seen some athleticism. So here's 2 scenarios. And I'm not comparing him to these players when it comes to what I think he's going to, end up being like down the road. I'm just saying, there are 2 different styles that I think that he could fit in.
Mm-hmm. One is Jalen Hurts, the other Tom Brady.
One is Jalen Hurts.
Oh, really?
It is.
Okay.
And one is Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at Drew Brees was a great pocket passer that ended up now it took 4 or 5 years, right? We all understand that. There was an injury situation in there. There's a GM shuffle in San Diego, which he wasn't a Brees guy and all this other stuff, right? So once he gets to his system that he flourishes in, he's not a guy that had a giant arm, could make all the throws, but not known for arm strength. Played with tremendous fundamentals just become that efficient quarterback. When we hear that all the time with KOC, just like the fundamentals. Had enough escapability where he could break the pocket and pick up some first downs, but he just became this ultra cerebral, efficient quarterback that can make a lot of throws. I'm okay with that if we get that version of JJ McCarthy down the road.
And
I'm also okay with the fact that, what if he's not Mr. Pocket Passer guy? What if he's okay in the pocket, but is also really good at just being creative and extending plays. And that's more like Jalen Hurts. A lot of people think that Jalen Hurts is like Mr. Run Guy. He's not. He doesn't actually run with the football that much. What he does, kind of like Patrick Mahomes does, is he will sit in the pocket, bounce for just a little bit, but he'd prefer to break the pocket almost to a fault. His offensive linemen actually get really upset with him breaking the pocket too early because it makes them look like they can't hold a pocket. They get criticized when in actuality, he just feels more comfortable outside the pocket. So if he becomes like a little bit more outside the pocket guy, creative guy, not runner guy, I don't really want to be runner guy, but if he's creator guy, extending plays guy, let receivers get open on secondary routes, much like we got hit on secondary routes against the Eagles. If that's the way the offense looks with a little bit more balance in the run game, dude, I'm so cool with that. So I guess I'm excited to see. We're not going to see it all. We're not going to walk away from Detroit and say like, oh, this is who he is. We've got him pegged, and this is the type of player he is.
Right.
But if we're starting to see versions of either one of those, I'm cool with.
I'm just happy that Brian O'Neill's going to play.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that they haven't been holding O'Neill back, even though he's been healthy, so they could see what they have in Walter Rouse.
I always love that one.
With Ford Field and these Lions, have they developed a nice home field advantage at Ford Field? Like you're on the field, and you've been on the field when they were bad, playing against them, and they were really bad, including winless in 2008. And now that they're really good, when on the field, does it get loud and all rowdy at Ford Field? It does, right?
Yeah, it does. It's I think we've mentioned this before on the show that it's one of my favorite stadiums to play in.
Same.
I know it's one of yours. Aesthetically, I think it's really, really cool on the inside.
Oh, the lighting's the bomb.
Yeah, and then when they get that place packed, were we there for Thanksgiving? It was a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was
Aretha Franklin 8-minute anthem.
Yeah. That place was incredible.
I know.
And ever since then, it's just gotten better and better and better because they are a starving franchise and a starving fan base. And every home game they come out and they show out. It is a really raucous crowd there.
They haven't lost 2 consecutive regular season games since 2022. But they have lost 2 in a row before. I mean, they lost two in a row last year. Last year, this year. They lose first game this year, playoff game to Washington. So they're coming off a bye. The Vikings off the Thursday night debacle against the Chargers. And it looks like Van Ginkel is set to return. Assuming the Gink is on fire, where do you most expect that to help the Minnesota Vikings defense the notch?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think Van Ginkel is a really, really good player on the edge. And unfortunately, we haven't seen anybody step up in his absence that I think has been as solid run defender, as savvy as far as the coverage stuff goes. And of course, as slippery as he is as a pass rusher, unfortunately, Dallas Turner's is still not there yet. That I think he's going to give you a boost in every one of those areas. I think my concern is bringing a guy like Van Ginkel back still doesn't take away from the fact that we're not strong enough on the inside part of our defensive line to stop the run consistently. Mm-hmm. And you look at the bread and butter of this Lions team, and it is built in the trenches. I mean, their offensive line is fantastic. They're athletic, they're strong, they're nasty, they're vicious. They want to fight you every single play. They want to get downhill. And so as much as I think that we'll take care of business on the edges, I think kind of our Achilles heel this year has been the pressure on the inside. And as much as I love Jalen Redmond, I mean, the guy's fantastic, but like overall in the course of 4 quarters, the way that they run the football, the way that they keep the gas pedal down all the time, that does concern me just about the porousness of our inside of our defense.
The run defense been quite porous. Needs to improve against Gibbs and Montgomery this Sunday, noon for the Boom. More on the Vikings around the corner, but first.
The Fan, along with 2 men in a junk truck, want to give you a chance at some bonus bucks, National Cash Contest style. So go to KFAN.com, use the keyword $, and you might win a bunch of them. Use the keyword $, at KFAN.
Which players will get the most looks with McCarthy? And do you expect the team to run quite a bit? And good morning.
Good morning. The second part of that question is the one that I want to see happen more and more and more and more. I think 2 games ago, we ran the ball 17 times. I think this last game, we ran the ball, 11 times? And don't quote me on those numbers. We know that they're just not where we want them to be as a fan base. We understand that not everything is 50-50. But I think the balance in the play calling is something that I think is really going to help out this whole offense, with the offense lineman just going downhill and McCarthy setting things up, whether it's play action or boots or waggles or whatever it is. I think it's, and now that we have both of our running backs back and we're assuming that Aaron Jones is fully healthy, there's no reason why we shouldn't be running the football with more frequency, efficiency, production, performance. I really want to see that into this game because, as you know, and I know, watching these Lions are aggressive. They can go on a 3-play scoring drive. They can go on a 15-play scoring drive. Like, they can hit from multiple different angles in different ways. But the fact of the matter is they are aggressive and they want to stuff it down your throat. Limiting the number of touches their offense has is going to be huge. If you can steal a possession,
big time,
or 2, because we can run the football, we can go on a 12 to 15 play drive, score a touchdown, not 3 points, and we can do that consistently for 4 quarters. We have a great chance to go in there and do something that nobody in the country thinks that we can do. But I think it does ultimately start with the run game. Now, to your first part of your question, I agree with you. I heard you earlier this week. I just think the more that teams pay attention to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison should be sitting on a really big game. And he has been come up really clutch in a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. Listen, we know that JJ is going to get a ton, especially with Carson Wentz, got a ton of targets. I mean, at times, I think he maybe looked to him a little bit too often, and I think he should have been looking elsewhere for some bigger opportunities. But if McCarthy can keep his eyes open and not just focus in on Jets, then a great possibility that J.A. has a huge game.
How much of this, you talk about, I think it was 5 attempts. You were right on the 11, I think, but it was 5 in the first half, which was kind of jarring. And you're down 21-3, so you're looking at game flow and how urgent are you trying to push the ball in the pass game. How much of this run game, and we saw, fewer than 20 carries, I think, in the Falcons' loss, how much of it is related to the 50 different O-line combinations where it's like this week we're expecting to have Darisaw, we're expecting to have Brian O'Neill, basically everybody in the mix except for Ryan Kelly with Brandell at center. So how much of it has been related to, man, I mean, it's tough grinding out yards with Joe Huber and Justin School. We're talking about pre-snap penalties, cohesion and all of that. Do you think that leads to fewer rush attempts, or is it more, I guess, game script and the coach making those decisions?
See, I've always been under the assumption that, by and large, offensive linemen would prefer to go downhill than kick step and pass protect. And you throw in all these different combinations of guys, and listen, they're backups for a reason. They're not quite as skilled as the guys that start in front of them. That's just the nature of the game. So if in totality everybody's better going forward, I would just assume that those backups and those different line combinations would function better if they were going downhill. They're sort of just getting into a flow of the game through the run game versus finding the flow of the game, kick stepping and having protect the quarterback. So I don't know how much I put into that. I understand that. Listen, I know play calling's got to be very difficult, and I will speak out of both sides of my mouth on this issue because I'm not a play caller. You go back to the Eagles game, we were fantastic throwing the ball on first down. Our play action pass game on first down in that Eagles game was phenomenal. I think that we had over 100 yards on 9 attempts or something like that. We were really, really good. And so if I'm a play caller, I'm like, okay, if we play action on first down and it's hitting for chunk yardage, why would I go away from that? The issue is when it doesn't work, now you're 2nd and 10. Mm-hmm. And now it becomes, are we predictable now in running the football? And all of a sudden they stack the box and they either run a run blitz or something of the sorts to combat what they think is more of a predictable play. So it is a little bit of risk reward when it comes to the play calling. So I understand sometimes the conundrum we're in, and then you bring up the game flow where, boy, we just seem to be chasing all the time, and it's hard to chase when you don't have two healthy running backs and you've got one running back that's supposed to be your bell cow, is not a game breaker. He's not a 4-4 guy. So are you going to run your way to success and claw your way back in this game? Probably not. So I understand that you feel like you've got to throw the ball a little bit more.
Life without tight end Josh Oliver. How does that impact this game? Under the assumption he doesn't play, but I think it's a fair assumption.
Yeah. Well, I think, maybe it is sort of a forced blessing that when we get into, maybe we go from, we run the football more out of 11 personnel, we go more 10 personnel, we find ways to spread out this defense, and that does subject you to maybe less guys blocking in the pass game, but maybe that just kind of forces our hand and be like, all right, well, let's spread these guys out, and maybe these short passes are an extension of the run game. But he's ultra valuable in what he can do. I mean, the versatility that he brings, running the football on the edge, going big, going 12 personnel, using Hawkinson as a split out guy, using Hawkinson as an inline player, really gives us a lot of flexibility. So yeah, it's a big miss to me that we're not going to have him out there. And CJ Ham is also a big miss as well. So that being said, I'm not sure the guys that we have behind them, Urasek and Sims, if he ends up playing a lot, are as good run blockers as Josh Oliver. I mean, he's fantastic.
No, you're sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're all sure of that, and it's no affront to the players. It's just, that's Josh.
Well,
Josh's
that's
gift.
That's his forte, and he's built more like that.
Yeah, that's his mat. That's his forte. How does one slow Jahmyr Gibbs? Right.
I wish I really knew. I mean,
he's so cool. He's so good.
He's so cool. He's great, man.
He's just cool too, man.
I know. He's a fun guy to watch, and he's a really fun guy to cheer for. The Chiefs did a really good job, but again, it takes a team. It's not just, can we get Cashman or somebody blitzing downhill? I mean, it's going to take a little bit of that here and there, but the Chiefs did a really good job just up front, just beating their offensive line. They were faster than them off the ball. They controlled that line, and that's what it's going to take. Getting Jahmyr Gibbs to second guess himself the second he gets the ball handed off to him. We all know how dynamic and electric he can be if he gets to the line of scrimmage with a full head of steam. Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, his vision, his quickness. I mean, I remember talking to some of the players. I think it was after the end of the last game of the season last year, and some of the defensive guys were like, you don't understand how fast this guy is until you're on the field with him. There is a gracefulness at which he runs, even though you can see the turnover, you can see the frequency of his legs, but when you see it in real time, guys are shocked by how fast he runs. So when he gets a full head of steam, it's hard. So I guess my answer is, our defensive line has to play the best game that they've played all season long. Not just in the pass game, not just getting vertical pressure on Jared Goff and flushing him out of the pocket, because I think that's where he's the most vulnerable. It's going to be pushing this very good offensive line back on their side of the line of scrimmage consistently in the run game, and we just haven't seen that since the season started. Okay, so lastly, for the Vikings to pull an upset Sunday, which players need to have big games? I mean, just have to have big games for them to. They're 9-point underdogs. Holy cow! Well, I'll take any guy on the defensive front, on the interior part of our defense. I mean, I will personally challenge those guys that play those inside positions. I understand that everybody's got to play well across the board, but if it's Hargrave, please show up. Would love to see that. Jonathan Allen, he's done a really good job in the run game. Would love to see him get some more vertical pressure and affect the quarterback in the pass game. El Presidente, Levi Drake Rodriguez, I love his effort. We got to have more in this game to stop the run. All of those guys up front need to play stronger and more physical and get off the blocks and just have this mentality of being unblockable at all times. So those guys have to play great, and of course McCarthy's got to play great. I mean, he's the guy. Right. You're the guy, dude. You're healthy. There's nobody else. We're not turning to Brosmer. This is supposed to be your time, your franchise. Go out there and show us something and take care of the football. But I said this in game one, and I'll say it again. Let her rip, man.
Yeah.
Let her rip. You're going to learn more. You're going to learn more by throwing 3 interceptions, throwing into tight coverage and taking risks than you will if you pull the ball down and take a sack and be like, at least I didn't turn the ball over. Yeah, maybe. We live to play another down, but I would love to see you start checking off things of what you're capable of doing. Was that a good read or was that not a good read? Can I fit that in there? Can I not? Because we're going to need that if you're going to be our franchise guy for the next 10 years.
You're talking about J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah.
Lastly, part 2, give us your best 30 on this. Because McCarthy, he's in a game, we dig him, then he's gone for a year. Then he's in 2 games, and we're patient, we dig him. Then he's gone for a month and change. So the backup, with Brosmer, like, how does a backup prepare in case they have to play? It's just like
it's difficult.
It
you
is.
Don't get any reps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might get in a 10 to 12 play script in any one segment of practice.
So Wolford is not scout team guy. Brosmer is. No, Wolford.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No, Brosmer will probably be scout team guy.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll probably get his reps on scout team, and Wolford will get some, probably split some of the scout team stuff. But when it comes to starting reps, you might get 1, 2 reps in a given segment. Yeah, maybe. You just want JJ to throw caution to the wind. Just let her rip. I do. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, just let her rip, JJ.
1st and 10 from the 27 of the Bears. McCarthy out of the shotgun. Blitz is on. Is picked up. McCarthy loops it to Jones. Touchdown! He's showtime! And the Minnesota Vikings have taken a 1-point lead.
Back after this.
News du Nord, 9 to noon, and it's always brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Poker, blackjack, and table games, feeling the felt all year long, having sips of chips and tipping Derek Allen. And on Thursdays, today's Thursday. From 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Thursdays, they have the NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge. And all you got to do to participate, it's free, by the way. You just roll down to Shakopee and have a blast there, because that's all people do at Canterbury's, have a blast. Then you pick the NFL winners through the weekend, and maybe you win this week, and you get some walking around money. But at the end of the season, one person will win free fuel for a year, courtesy of Quick Trip. So you don't need to ride the gas prices. Just win the Pro Pick'em Challenge at the end of the year. You don't have to worry about it. You're getting it for free from Quick Trip. So thank you, Canterbury. CanterburyPark.com. Love my Wolves, but wow, what a gut punch last night.
All right, same setup. The Lakers will have it. Far side, LaRavia triggers in. Lakers down by 1. Inbound comes to Austin Reeves against Jaden McDaniels. 5 seconds left. Ayton sets the high screen with 3. Now with 2. Reeves on a drive, gets in the paint, floats up the shot, and hits it at the buzzer. Austin Reeves has won the game for the LA Lakers.
Alan Horton on the call, 116-115 the final. Things looked Howell heavy early on, specifically in the first quarter. Then Reeves gets things going. And, well, frankly, the Wolves were just dreadful in the second and third quarter. Defense non-existent. The head coach, Chris Finch, joined UPA out of the gates. It was kind of fun. Late stages of the third, and then probably midway through the fourth, you get Bones Highland. I mean, they were up by 17, 20-ish at times, and then Bones Highland rolls in for a quick 6 minutes, pumps in 8 points, and you're feeling good about yourself. Just clomping and clanking, the team was for a large part of the game. Jake LaRavia goes off for 27. I think he had 5 triples for the Lakers. Got really hot in the second half in particular. But then defense clamps down. They erased the double-digit lead. It was 11 or 12 with like 4.5 to go. Take the lead with a high-end Julius Randle. I mean, he just worked his way in there. I think he finished with the left hand. It was a beautiful shot. Only for Reeves, 10 seconds, dragging it down, finds his way through. Rudy kind of caught shifting near the key, and Dante DiVincenzo tried to get a hand up just a little late on it. They lose, and now they're 2-3, and they are at Charlotte on Saturday. Elite intel on your end, by the way. Just checking out how those Hornets are looking. Brandon Miller with a shoulder. I don't know if LaMelo Ball is still playing every minute of every game yet before he undoubtedly sustains some weird injury. But the Wolves need a W in Charlotte on Saturday.
The end of the game was very interesting. Well, first, the Timberwolves gave up 97 points through three quarters, and that's absolutely working on the last nerve of Chris Finch. Then Chris laid on the sword, basically said that final possession and a bad defensive set, scheme, call, or whatever was on him. And I can see what he's saying, but you know what? With all due respect, high-end players like Austin Reeves, when I say high-end, I'm talking about his ball handling skills. He gets to split doubles, okay? Good players get to make good plays, too. DiVincenzo closed, DiVincenzo jumped, Reeves with a teardrop over him, with a floater over him. It's a good shot. So I don't know if Chris is laying on that sword to deflect attention from others, but coaches will do that. And quite honestly, for my whatever amount of years, I've been part of KFAN, PA and Dubé are through now, 27, 28. I can't remember the last time, if ever. I'm going to say this never has happened, that three coaches of major programs in this market within a week all laid on the proverbial swords and put either critical moments that led to a loss on them or put the games on them. So PJ's team loses, doesn't score a touchdown, loses by 5 touchdowns and a field goal to Iowa, completely took all the blame for everything. O'Connell, the Thursday night before that, said, and I've never heard Kevin say this, whether in private or in public, that I take responsibility for not having the team ready.
Yeah,
that's big stuff right there, man, when they say that. And then Finchy did it again. Did it yesterday. 3 within 6 days. It just never works that way.
I don't mean to put you in a spot, but what he's referring to on that final defensive set, I'm curious if anything pops in your head in terms of what it could look like if it was different, because
it's what he said right at the beginning of the interview.
Even on the TV call, they were talking a bit about it, that Rudy having to defend that screen, and you saw it on the play before where prior to the out of bounds and the final timeout was called, were you putting Rudy in a tough spot there if Reeves gets into position like he did,
yes,
to ask him to do something that far out and maybe created the problem that led to the opportunity?
Yeah, I would suggest podcasting, because I don't want to do a disservice to the brilliant answer he gave with my first question today, because that first question I asked him was, you laid on the sword, man, for that final play. What are you talking about here? And he talked for about 45 seconds straight, explained it beautifully. I can't do it justice, so listen back to it, KFAN.com, Finchy on demand.
I should have played the audio, absolutely. To the World Series, they got after Blake Snell early.
Snell into the line. Here's the first pitch of Game 5 of the World Series, and it's hit high, left field and deep. Call back at the track, leaps at the wall, and that ball is gone! A first pitch homer for Davis Schneider, and the Blue Jays take the lead in the first. Welcome to Game 5.
2 pitches later.
And the 0-1. Vladdy rocks the ball. Left field and deep. Back to the wall. It is gone again. Back-to-back blasts in the first. And in 3 pitches, the Blue Jays lead 2-0.
Trey Savage, their rookie pitcher for the Blue Jays, that is, struck out 12. I think that's a new World Series record. He went 7. 6-1 the final. Completely saw this thing the wrong way. At least I did. I didn't see a spot here, not just even finding their way to a couple victories. Appreciate it. Talented team as the Jays are. But with the way they've handled this series, and specifically now putting themselves in a 3-2 lead, it's been a fun series as we've kind of chronicled last few days. But the Jays with an opportunity to go back to Toronto and win a World Series over the previously heavily favored Dodgers. It's been fun.
Yeah, for you, Savage, I think what you meant was first in history of World Series with at least 12 strikeouts and no walks. And he's the first in the history of the World Series to do that. And it's who knew for me. I mean, I know his name. Took me about a month to figure out how to pronounce it. And I've watched him throughout the baseball postseason. He's fantastic, this Yosavage. Holy cow.
Really good.
And he was in, and assuming wobbles here within the next 5 minutes or so, because he's the baseball guy in the Covenant. But he was in single A earlier this year. Yosavage was a single A pitcher earlier this year, I think at like age 22 or 21.
Yeah, it was some bit on X where he's only made about $50,000 this year.
Wow. So earlier in the year, he's in a single A, ascends. They go with him late. All right. So that's the super special X amount of players for the playoff roster. Who do we keep? Who do we not keep? Like the tough decisions that they're having to make with Clayton Kershaw and some other people for the Dodgers. This guy made the playoff roster. And holy cow, thank heavens for Jays fans, he did. He probably was a cinch to make it, but out of nowhere, what a great Major League Baseball story. This Trey Yosavage, not only making history last night, but complimenting a team that eventually is going to hit. Snake Bell has been, he's been the problem point of the three big dogs that the Dodgers have. Well, Yamamoto goes tomorrow night. I mean, if you win the Yamamoto game, you win the World Series. I mean, but good luck winning the Yamamoto game.
Feels like an underwhelming affair tomorrow night.
Good luck winning the Yamamoto game, because he has those guys so mesmerized right now by that little slider that comes in at the high 80s. That's going to be wonderful tomorrow night. But the Jays can hit, and they're not afraid of the Dodgers. Vlad Guerrero Jr., super cool. So this series has been terrific every step of the way. Should be elite tomorrow night.
Ravens 7.5-point favorites over Miami. The return of Lamar, PA. The Ravens are 2-5. Let's do a little quick hyperbolic or hyper accurate.
Love it.
The Ravens at 2-5. Now that Lamar's healthy, they should be favored to win the AFC North over the 4-3 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow, that's wonderful. Oh, geez. It's hyperbolic because... No, I'm going to say it's hyper accurate, because I believe that coaching staff is so good, and with Lamar and the assumption he plays the rest of the games, I think they're going to be able to craft their offense out of the bye a certain way to protect their defense. So I thought I wasn't going to say hyperbolic because their defense is a problem.
It is.
I think the longer you go with Pittsburgh, I think the Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay tricks, they're going to come back to the pack gradually, game by game. That happens to old people. And I just think Baltimore's better. Baltimore's better than Pittsburgh. So I think that was a hyper-accurate statement.
And lastly, and you know what? We'll get an answer probably around the break. Familiar face to the Minnesota Twins, former bench coach Derek Shelton. He was fired earlier this year from his managerial post in Pittsburgh after a 12-26 start. Former bench coach becomes manager in Pittsburgh, is now replacing his former boss, Rocco Baldelli. He's been named the new manager of the Minnesota Twins.
Right.
That's all I got for News to Nord.
Columnist Lavelli Neal III. He's a columnist for the Star Tribune. We believe he will be joining us around the corner. And then John Hines, coach of the Minnesota Wild. He amplifies the production at about 11:40. Look forward to talking to Hinesy with Sid the Kid in town tonight. That one's on KFAN right around 7 o'clock against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's 11:03. Good morning. You're listening to KFAN.